Roberto Scapitici. He will give an overview, and then we will hear from our audience. At the July 8th regular meeting, the City Council adopted a resolution determining the need for improvement of Brant Street and Cypress Street between Ecorse Road and Beverly Road, and further directed city engineers to prepare a report ascertaining the quantities of material necessary for the completion of such improvement and prepare a detailed estimate of all expenses incidental to the improvement, and this was by Resolution 24-199. Council also scheduled a public hearing set for tonight, August 26th, to hear comments and/or objections on the proposed special assessment district and improvements as detailed in the city engineer's report. The public hearing notice was published in the city's official newspaper and mailed to all the property owners or other parties of interest whose names appear on the last tax assessment records of the city within the proposed assessment district in accordance with Section 50-3 of the Romulus City Ordinance. The city engineer's report has been provided in your packet, which includes two estimates based off the type of materials that is recommended for reconstruction of the roads within the proposed assessment district. At the next regular council meeting on September 9th, the City Council shall by resolution determine whether to proceed with the special assessment district and adopt a budget for the project. If council determines to proceed with the improvement, the city assessor shall prepare the proposed assessment roll, and another public hearing will be requested to discuss and hear objections to the proposed assessment roll. And that's kind of just an overview here. And now I'd like to invite our Director of Public Works, Roberto Scapitici, to the podium.
Good evening, Council. So as the Madam Clerk had indicated, this is a public hearing for the Brant Cypress Special Assessment District. So I think most of you might be familiar with this district. We've been working with these folks for about 4 years. There had been a couple petitions signed that actually expired. In this district, just to kind of give a little bit more detail, is the section of Brant and Cypress that is commercial and industrial property. It's not the residential portion of the city with Brant Street. This actual piece of roadway is not eligible for federal aid, and currently the city does not have any funding available to reconstruct this road. The district, I think it might be somewhere near 67-70% was interested in taking on a special assessment to reconstruct the road system. So this is the first public hearing. This is the portion of Brant Street that is north of Ecorse Road and south of Beverly. Dijon, if you want to flip to the engineer's estimate real quick. So we had OHM prepare a revised estimate. Back a couple of years ago, we had an estimate that was prepared, and the cost is relatively steady. It's been a conservative estimate, but we are actually proposing to reconstruct this roadway in asphalt pavement. The city at this time is willing to commit 10% towards the construction of this project, and the rest of the deferment would be to the special assessment district. So just to give kind of a highlight in a Cliff Notes version, when the city is not in the midst or in the position to fund a project, then the property owners can petition that an improvement is to be made and put on their tax assessment roll. So the assessor has prepared a tax assessment that has been shared with the district in the past. The cost is relatively similar, so there'd just be some variations in cost. But with that being said, I don't know if there's any other additional questions, but I'd be happy to answer any other questions regarding the district.
Any questions from council?
John, just,
Mr. Wadsworth.
where did we come up with the 10%? I mean,
Well, basically, it's what we have available in the commitment over the next 2 to 3 years, maybe even 4 years. We have some federal aid eligible projects that we have committed, that the fund balance that we do have has to be committed to make those match funding. Plus, we have county roads that are being reconstructed. We have to make the 10% match payments on those too. So about $200,000 is what we can afford.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Any other comments from council? No other comments?
With that, I guess I'll leave it to the property owners that want to discuss it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so we do, Mr. Chair and Council, we received an email request to speak on this subject matter. It's from Stan Drabick. And Mr. Drabick, if you would like to approach the podium.
I do want to thank all the members of the council for giving us a few moments here to discuss our proposal. We really appreciate it. My name is Stan Drabick, and I'm representing the Cypress Owners Association. We are responsible for the private portion of Cypress Road. There is a private portion versus the public portion at this point. And if I can be sure that everybody gets the right picture here. This is Cypress right here, and the portion that goes out here and up here is the private portion we're talking about. So we're not here to oppose or to delay the progression of the bond issue. Okay, what we really want to do is offer some thoughts that potentially could be incorporated into that program, the drafting and structuring of that program. When we look at this situation and we look at how the proposed allocation was set up in the past, all of the members in the district, so everybody that's in the red there is part of the district, everybody shared in the cost of the repair. And the repair, John, if you could show that again, the red portion that you have on the screen, please. So the red portion is the construction, is the actual construction that's going to take place. And you can see at the top there where Brent intersects with Cypress, 600 feet on both sides, going to the west and to the east, is included, and that's public road. That's dedicated to the city. Now, our portion, again, which is off to the, is off here. It actually starts right there and goes up, okay, is not included. But the fact that the assessment for the repairs of Grant is allocated to everybody in the district, and we get a full share allocated to us in the private sector for the repairs that will be taking place on Grant. Okay, so everybody gets a share, we get our full share of allocation. And then we obviously are 100% responsible for our own private road, private portion of Cypress. So at that point, we have full allocation for responsibility for 2 roads. Now we have a responsibility for Grant, which we're not on, and we have a responsibility for our own road, which is Cypress, the 1/3 of Cypress. So when we looked at that, we felt maybe there's a little bit of inequity here. Do we use Grant to get to Cypress? The answer is, of course, yes. Maybe we're responsible for some portion of the repairs, but how do we determine that? How is that going to be determined? It would seem to be somewhat arbitrary, whatever way it was finally decided. So we said, well, maybe there's a better way, a more equitable way, a more simple way to resolve this problem. So we looked at the idea of potentially taking the private road, which is 700 feet, 750 feet, that's all it is, 2 football fields, and dedicating that road to the city. So what would that accomplish? It would then make the entire Cypress Road a public road, rather than 2/3 public and 1/3 private. It would resolve the fact that we're responsible for 2 different roads, because we would then be the same as everybody else in the district. We would be responsible for 1 road, one particular thing, all of it being included in the district. So we felt that, that seems to be a reasonable approach then. The assessment that the private owners would have would be reasonable, would be the same as everybody else's assessment, be fair. We would accept that and pay it along with everybody else as part of our real estate taxes. So then we looked at it and said, well, how much would this cost the city? Well, your director here just said, they had very limited funds in the past and have it now, and very limited in the future potentially. So there's not a robust amount of money available. But when we look at this, we say, well, how much is it really going to cost? And the answer is, at this point, that since our road has been maintained very well, I mean, our road is 100% in good shape, and in fact, not included, as you can see there, in any kind of construction. At this point, of course, it was private, but wasn't even discussed as being necessary. It's in very good shape, doesn't need to be reconditioned at all. So it's not going to add any costs to the city or to the reconstruction at all, no cost whatever. Okay, we believe that the road is constructed in accordance with the requirements, city requirements for its construction, all of the qualifications that need to be there, and Mr. Scacchini can check that, I'm sure. So we're told that that's the case. So at this point, it's not going to add any cost to the city at all. Could there be a little bit of legal cost in terms of us transferring it over to you? Yeah, but inconsequential. And there might be a little bit of salt in the winter, a little bit of a snowplow, but very little. And I can tell you that the trucks from the city at this point, when they come across and come to the end of that red area, they go down our road to turn around. They're halfway down our road now, every time there's an event of any consequence. So they're already there. So our thought was that there seemed to be this practical approach to the problem. And if the city were willing to dedicate a small portion, 700 feet, 750 feet, all of the inequities built into the system where we're going to be being responsible for 2 separate roads, one of which we're not even on. A lot of this could then be just resolved very easily, very simply, at virtually no cost. So we'd like to put that proposal forth to the council and to whatever other parties may be involved in trying to make this decision. And we'd like to see some serious consideration to making it part of the overall structuring of the district in terms of how it's structured and how it will eventually get allocated. So we would like to work with anybody at any time and answer any questions if they have, but we're hoping that we can work together and make this thing come to fruition. So we thank you for your time.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Question of council?
John?
Yes, sir.
Roberto, what's your opinion of all this?
Yeah. That section of road, I believe in the past, has been left out of being public for probably one main reason. The buildings are within 40 feet of each other, and the road is smack dab right in the middle of it. That doesn't conform to the master plan right of way. We wouldn't accept anything that would be less than 60 feet. Those buildings are really close to the edge of the road.
Okay, you answered my question, thank you.
Any other questions from council? No other questions?
Is there anyone else from the audience that would like to speak on this matter?
Yes.
Good evening. My name's Shakin Rajahi, and I'm Bradley Pointer. I believe it's number 6 on another one of the ones, but we're 6746, this right there. I don't have anything too long to discuss on it, but this page actually kind of shows a little bit better. First thing is this property right here, so what Stan was just speaking to is this private road right here. This property right here is included in the assessment. And the reason it is because it has access from the back, and that's the only way it can access that building. My question is why isn't this parcel right here, because their back parking lot can't be accessed without having access through the back? And in a similar precedent, the building here on E-Course, I can give you the address for both. That's 3610 E-Course and 3665 Beverly. They both have private access in the back. While the one on E-Course it does have frontage out here where they can enter and exit, and that is their primary means of entering and exiting right now. It's a leased property. Next time it comes through, they may choose to use this exit in the back as a primary means, and I don't know why it's not included. I would echo a little bit more on what Stan said with respect to, yes, we use these brand as a means of entry and access, but there should be some consideration into a secondary tier for us. We're similar where, honestly, I don't know, and I haven't had a lot of discussion with the other owners in this space. I know some of them are here. I don't know that we've had any discussion, period, about looking at whether the city would be interested in taking that on, but we are responsible for all of this. We have to take care of all of that. Any upkeep, maintain, all that is 100% on us. So to add the burden of the full cost of drainage and the approaches on all the properties that will receive the full benefit of Brandt's reconstruction is a question mark in my mind. I do have a question on how we came to the 8 inches of HMA. Where is the asphalt the primary means? Is that good enough for what businesses we have in there? I know we had a large trucking company in Hollingsworth, and this one right here, it appears they moved out, but who's moving in next and how many trucks are going through? As a percentage of load on the road, in the last 5 years, they were over half of it. So the number of trucks coming in and out of that road seems to be unbalanced compared to others. So, and the only other things I had was, I want to know the life expectancy based on the assessment to go from concrete to asphalt. And just making sure that we're addressing the approach down here. It looks like it's part of it, but I know that's a Wayne County thing. But that approach is prone to flooding. This building drains right into the road. It's consistently flooding every winter. This winter wasn't as bad as some of the past, but we didn't have a whole lot of precipitation. Even heavy rains flood us out to the point where I believe all of us had tried to find alternate routes in there. If anyone has any questions?
Any questions on that? Anyone? Council?
Oh, I have one more thing, sorry. On the parcel list on the letter for this meeting, I did just a quick assessment of the parcels list, and I think it may be a clerical thing. 6801 is listed, their parcel is listed, I think it's in 307. 306 is 6800 Cypress, and it's not listed. So I just want to make sure they're included in the actual assessment.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Sir, you wanted to speak?
Good evening, thank you. Neil McLean. I own the large building at the end, which leads to Hollingsworth. They're moving out, and I also, this building is mine right here, and they do not use that back. I own that, it's fenced off, it's locked, never, ever have they, I've owned it about 4 years now or whatever, something like that. They don't go down those roads, it's fenced off, gated, locked, and they do not use it. They come in on Ecorse Road. So you can watch all day long, every day. They do not use that. So that's not part of, this building here is not part of what's part. But I do own the former Napa Auto Parts building. I own the Wartech building and this building. So I have a number of buildings in there, and also a number of other buildings in the city of Romulus. And, but that building is not in there at all. They come off Ecorse Road. They never, ever go back to that big lot there. So, and I gave you my card. If you ever see them go there, you call me, because they have no permission to go down that road.
I don't know.
You need to come, if you got a question, you need to come up to the mic.
We're recording, so that's what it's.
I don't know how form works with discussion on this one, so I apologize if I'm somewhat informal on that. But it isn't a question of whether they're currently using it. They do occasionally use it, like here and there. By the time
No, they don't occasionally use it. No, they don't. That's locked off. It's locked
They don't
off.
have access?
No,
to
they
it?
don't have access to use it, no.
Okay. Well, I guess my other.
No, you're dead wrong on that. I own the building, we're around, I own a whole bunch of buildings all over town. We have people and we're around, they never use that.
Is
Never.
it- But isn't it?
Not once, not once.
Is it not a fires, that has to be able to be open?
They come in on Ecorse Road, that's where they come in,
For the same reason that you enter on the Beverly one, or the one that Hollingsworth did, it exits off of Beverly. That's a fire, it's primarily locked, but if there's a need to get through, it gets opened up.
They never, ever use that. So you're making it sound like they use that. You don't know what you're talking about.
It was a question of whether they could use it.
Okay. No,
Just
they don't
because
use
they don't
it.
currently.
No, they'll never use it as long as I own it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so, we really do need to get Brand Street, because I bring a lot of jobs to the city of Romulus, and unfortunately Hollingsworth lost some business with Ford Motor Company, so they're moving out. But we're working hard to get a good tenant in there, and we're talking to some people right now, and we feel pretty good about it. And, we take good care of our buildings, we try to keep the landscaping up, and be a good residence in the city, and also provide good jobs for the city of Romulus with a number of buildings that I do own. So we do need to get this Cypress and Grant Street paved. So we really appreciate you guys taking time to look at this, because it's getting to a point where employees are damaging their cars if you drive down there. It's, they're having front-end work done, and it's a very serious issue. So I really appreciate the council looking at this and helping us get this done. This way we can keep jobs in Romulus and keep these buildings filled up and continue to take good care of them. Thank you. My name is Neil McLean.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Any questions at all?
Any other questions from council?
Yeah, Neil McLean,
Yes.
quick question. You alluded to the fact that some of the employees are damaging their cars because of the road is
I was told that
so damaged. You were told that. Do you have any substantive evidence or any invoices from the repair shops, or just curious?
I was told by the management at Hollingsworth, they said they got employees that didn't want to come to that facility, Hollingsworth, because of the front end damage to their cars.
Okay, so hearsay. There's no
Yeah,
substantive evidence or anything.
Hearsay from the management, which
Okay, I appreciate it'd be a lot more powerful. I think if we had like 10 or 12 invoices that said this front end was ripped up because it went down the damaged road, or
I think
if-
some of the other people would probably say.
just kind of curious.
Dwight.
Sure. Yeah, of course, thanks, Dwight. Yeah, sure.
So a couple things, yeah. my wife said 4 flat tires on that street.
Okay.
I don't know if I can put you the invoice, but that's happened.
Sure.
And Neil's correct, that no one does enter that building in the back. It is fenced off, and because we're in the building with 6801. I've never seen it look better, and we're not there every day. They do have like a trash compactor, crusher guy that comes in every day. He does come off the street. I get the building owner's point. Could that possibly be, but even I have off of Beverly, a fenced area that is allowed for a fire truck to come in, but it can't be used. In fact, it's grass right now, but it has gravel underneath we put 25 years ago. I built a building, and kids built it with us, but it is true that we had a potential tenant that wouldn't come in because the road was that bad, because the cars can't get out.
Thank you, Dwight.
Excuse me.
Mr. Wadsworth?
If I can make a quick comment. I took a ride down that road about a week ago, and if I was gonna rent a building on that, like you said, I wouldn't rent there mainly because of the road. It's bad, it's terrible, it should be fixed.
Yeah, I agree. If I could just add one thing from what Stan was talking about too, or hopefully to add a little bit to the city. We're donating money to this. 80%, we're gonna get, or 90%, we're gonna get 10% from the city. It's kind of the city's responsibility, but we need this done and we are willing to do it. I would just hope, the city could help us out, at least in some way, that, to say, hey, we appreciate you being here. Because we are paying our taxes, we're doing the right thing, and we're not mad about that, but we do want you to know that, hey, we're footing the bill here.
Ms. Roscoe?
We appreciate anything we can help.
Ms. Roscoe?
Just one comment. My son worked back in the Holly, in your building, Mr. McNeil, for 3 years. For 3 years. So for 3 years, off and on, I was back through that building, and it was bad then, and it's worse now. And he had himself a couple flat tires back through there and whatever. And I tell him, you're driving too fast. But it was bad.
We've been there 27 years.
Yep. Yep, so I can contest to the fact that getting from Ecorse Road all the way back to Cypress was a challenge.
And the approach there needs to be addressed too, the approach is awful, but because there is problems, there is flooding and everything.
Yep.
Brings the economy.
All the time. I work at Ecorse and Middle Belt, and it's always flooded. It doesn't matter how hard it rains.
Mayor?
Just a quick comment. I do appreciate the property owner taking ownership in this road. You're 100% right. It is the city road, it's our responsibility, and I apologize for not having the fundings to go after it in a more aggressive manner. Just when I spent a day with DPW in the field, we put 4 loads of cold patch on this road alone just to make it even usable. And so it's a failed road, it needs to be done. I appreciate you guys coming together as a group and wanting to see this take action. And Roberto did say that the approach will be addressed in this scope of work to make sure that flooding issue is addressed during reconstruction. So I appreciate you coming up here forward and wanting to have some ownership and increase your stakeholder in the city around us. Because you're right, you can't lease those buildings down with those roads in the condition they are. And I wish we could address it for you, we just don't have the funding. We're trying to address that with Lansing right now. We're just not there yet, unfortunately, so.
Maybe
That's all.
Maybe that day will come, let's hope, but
We'll keep working.
for the time being, we gotta work together on it.
Can you state
My
your
name's
name?
Dwight Fairchild.
Fairchild. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Williams? Sir?
Just like to say I'm so glad that you brought up about the approach. I'm glad you brought it, because it's terrible. I mean, even if you're not going in off of E-course, just the looks of it, especially when it rains or after the snow melts, it looks terrible. And so I truly appreciate it, as the mayor said, that you guys, business owners are willing to foot majority of the bill to get that road done, because anytime any of our roads are repaired or redone, it looks good for our city. And so I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys wanting to go in your pockets and fix something that we're not able to fix at this time. So thank you.
We also appreciate your jobs that you offer to the city, and the taxes that you pay. Appreciate that.
Because another thing is, the sense of urgency on getting this done is important, because once we lose tenants, they're
Yeah.
gone. Like Hollingsworth is gone, you know, and they lost the business, and they had other facilities, and they looked at the road. Mike McNamara, the CEO of Hollingsworth, called me about 4 or 5 times, said, Neil, when are you gonna get this done? You know, and I couldn't give them an answer, so, if they have other choices out there, and they move on, they're not gonna wait on
Definitely.
City Romulus or Neil McLean. They're gonna take care of their employees, because it's so hard to get good employees today, and,
Yes.
they're putting an obstacle course for them to drive down every day. They're opting out of it, so really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you.
John, I got
Thank you. Mr. Wadsworth?
And Roberto, if this moves along as it's supposed to, when do you see it being completed?
You know, it could be possible in 2025. We have to look at it moving through all the public hearings. Then we're going to have to sit down with a bonding attorney and look at the rates and the project size and get it scoped out and bid out and designed.
Okay, fine.
It could be a
All right.
2025 project.
Thank you.
Excuse me, like what part of 25?
I would say probably late summer, to be honest. I mean, being that we're almost September and we still have to go through hearings, you know, we have to give it at least a 3-4 month design phase in permitting. So I think kind of like a mid to late summer start, which there was a question about the asphalt. The asphalt pavement is a faster type construction. Okay, so being that the district is fully developed and housed with staff, I chose asphalt because concrete, you have cure time. There's more logistics of moving traffic in and out. Asphalt, as soon as you can pave, you can get on top of it within an hour and start the commerce. Also, with the depth of the asphalt, that's a deep strength cross-section. That is the same cross-section that the federal government gave us for Beverly Road, which will allow for the type of traffic that's seen in this district. There's a lot of single-axle delivery vehicles, which it's one point of contact with the road. That's a tremendous, deterrent towards pavement life cycle. So that's kind of how we came up with that cross-section.
And whatever procedures that we can take, because I feel the urgency of these businesses. They don't want to lose any more businesses that they have already lost. So whatever, situation we can put ourselves in to push it forward. Because I can see in some areas, you have jobs, concrete jobs, and sometimes black top jobs done. I mean, and within days, they're done. So, maybe we need to get with those folks that move in a more efficient way to get the job done, because I would hate to see them lose any more businesses, and when they lose, we lose, so.
Absolutely. We've got a pretty good track record of controlling projects and schedules and being efficient with construction. So my concern is just getting through this process.
Whoever you used, and I said this a couple weeks ago, whoever you used to do the work, and I think that's Blacktop on North Line between
Yes.
Goddard and, call them, because they did a great job and they was quick about doing it.
Yep, we put them out to public bid, so we would allow for competition.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
Another question, yeah, before you leave, Roberto.
Mr. Wilson?
Thanks, Chairman. The cost, am I looking at the cost right here? The cost of this, of the construction?
Yeah,
Is it 1.9 million? Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah,
And the city says pays 10% construction costs and 10% construction engineering? So the city looks like it's going to contribute $200,000
Yes.
of this $2 million project?
yes.
And I know the mayor alluded to the fact that we looking for money from the state. Obviously, we just got some money not too long ago from the state. I think it was about $7 million. I believe it was, and it was designated, I believe, for the Wayne Road project. $7 million. So there's no question about it. We have roads in this city that are definitely in need of repair. And obviously, the stakes become higher when you have a business that's employing residents who are paying taxes to the city, who are on the verge of leaving the city because the roads aren't being addressed. So I guess I say that to say this. We do have appropriations, obviously, the mayor and his DPW director and the Kevin Krauses of the world and all those other folks, they make the determination on which road gets the priority, which roads get the priorities. So I guess we're looking at $7 million appropriation. Is there some residual finances from that that could be contributed to this project, or?
No, it can't.
And
So
what is the reason why?
distinction, and I'm going to tell you what the distinction
Okay.
is. We have $7 million. $1 million is for a different project. That's for a facility. The $6 million you're talking about, that's federal aid eligible roads.
Okay,
Only federally aid eligible roads can compete for that money. This is a local road, cannot compete.
Okay.
The feds would never fund this project because it's a local road.
okay, so the $1 million that you alluded to, you said that's a facility improvement. Can you help expound on that?
I don't know all the
What
details
is
of
the
it, but I
1
believe
million?
it's for the beginnings of a police department.
Okay, you believe, but again, we're just trying to become factual here. We have $7 million, you said there's $6 million that goes to the,
No,
it's federally
I'm
funded.
not trying to confuse the matter.
Okay.
I'm simply making some facts. It's not $7 million for the roads.
Okay, so it's $6 million, okay.
It's $6 million
Okay.
for the roads and
And
$1
1
million
million.
for some facilities.
But you don't know what those facilities are.
I don't have the information, but I believe it's
Okay.
for the police department.
Good enough.
Public safety,
Thank
it's
you.
for public safety.
Public safety.
Public
so-
safety building, yep.
Public safety.
Need,
Okay, that's the police department, right? Is that?
Yes.
Let's be clear? Okay.
Any other comments from council?
Thank you, Roberto.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Any more questions for me?
no, thank you.
Thank you.
Be up to
I have one question. I just wanted to ask, direct this to the attorney here, the city's attorney. Roberto said that,
Can you speak in the mic, please?
Could you come up to the mic? 'Cause
I
they-
know it's a little
Oh,
tough. Maybe
somebody can get
take
it,
the
somebody.
cordless mic to him.
Yeah, thanks, Roberto.
Okay, there it is.
Just want to raise one question here. Roberto brought up the fact that there's an issue with respect to the distance with the buildings, which we were not really aware of. My question to the attorney for the city is there a possibility, if that is an issue, that some sort of variance could be obtained?
I think it's an issue, potential issue with regards to safety. You don't have the same run-out area for somebody who loses control of the vehicle. And I guess I'd have to ask our insurance company what their view is on that too, whether or not they would be willing to insure a road that didn't meet the minimum width requirements.
Okay, well, we're willing to wait for a response on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public? We are in public comment at this time of the agenda, and this is the portion for those who are in the audience that would like to address City Council concerning tonight's public hearing. To do so, raise your hand. After you've been acknowledged by the chairperson, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on tonight's subject for this public hearing?
Any other comments from the audience? No comments, Mayor Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to summarize at the end, so at your next council meeting, September 9th, the City Council shall by resolution determine whether to proceed with the Special Assessment District and to adopt a budget for the project. Okay, then if it is determined to proceed with the improvement, then the city assessor shall prepare the proposed assessment roll, and then another public hearing will be scheduled to discuss and hear objections to the proposed assessment roll. So this will be on the September 9th agenda.
Thank you, Madam
And
Clerk.
if there's no more discussion from council or from the public, number 5 of the agenda is adjournment, and a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Our regular council meeting starts 7:30. Thank you.